3, 2, 1, action. Here we go. It is the last, what is it? It's Sunday. It's the 30th. I am too tired for this. We have got hockey. We have got drama with CEOs calling out players. But, I mean, hey, we've also got the top 5 rookies drafted since 2000. I'm Matthew Spooloff. These are my co-hosts, and this is the Melted Ice Podcast. Let's get ready. Let's go.
Rookies?
Rookies, whatever. No, it's since 2000.
Draft picks, whatever.
Yes, draft picks since yeah. All right.
Merry Christmas, fellas.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays for those for you that are sensitive. But hey, right, we don't care anymore. We're the most politically incorrect podcast ever.
Yeah.
All right, let's get it. Let's hear the Lumberjacks. I heard they did snap the losing streak, the first one.
Yeah.
But I was also told for the first time in over a month, they swept this weekend a weekend series.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had 2 games this weekend. On the 28th, they played Madison, who they played 2 days in a row. So their first game, they won 5-2. Hakkarainen got 2 goals and an assist. So he got the first goal with Bucas and Lynch assisting Aff. I'm just going to call him Aff.
There we go.
Hold on. I was actually at this game. I figured out how to pronounce it. It's a Finisenov.
A Finisenov?
A Finisenov.
So you had it right the first time you pronounced it.
Wow.
Finisenov.
Anyways, he got second goal with assist from Guchkin and Sodicher. I've never heard of him. So it's the first time I've heard of him this year. And Hakkarainen got the third goal with assist from Larionov and Skinner. And that ended up being the game winner. And McIsaac got a goal with assist from McDonald. And then he got an empty net goal from Hakkarainen and McDonald.
That was,
UC got his 21st win of the season.
I was at this game. The first goal let up by Busey. It's actually pronounced Bossy. I did find that out too.
Bossy?
Yeah, it's pronounced Bossy apparently. I don't
That's a
know.
weird way to spell it, but alright.
Yeah, he's probably Canadian.
America.
Yeah. Anyway, he the first goal, it was the guy who was coming in towards the left circle, and they just kind of put it on net. It was a left-handed shot. He just kind of put it on net, and it powdered its way through Bossy, and it rolled on, landed on the blue line, and just kind of did the whole kind of like when you spin a dime. That's kind of how it did it.
Yeah.
On the line, and our defenseman, I don't know who it was, but pulled it back out of the net. And they initially counted it as a goal. I thought it wasn't a goal because it was literally on the line. And it was starting to go back towards the net, but the guy pulled it back out in time. I thought it shouldn't have counted, but they counted it anyway. So
They don't have review, I don't think, in USA.
yeah, they
They
do.
do.
Oh, they do.
There's
They go to Rochester, Michigan for that.
yeah. Well, they have a first. What they do is that it's like a mini TV, and I think it's the visitors penalty box, and the refs are sitting there watching it. So, I mean, there's only so many angles you can get to it, but
Yeah,
which I'm pretty sure is why it wasn't counted. But whatever.
they probably
Or
don't
did
have
count.
a camera in the net.
Yeah, they don't have if it was the NHL, I think it wouldn't have counted because they have the net, and it was they have the net camera. I don't think it would have counted, but it's just my opinion. I had a bird's eye view. I was sitting in kind of like the handicap spot for.
Well, fitting spot for your Roper.
Right. Yeah. So I had a bird's eye view for it. I thought it wasn't. Like I said, that's refs are refs, right? So
Right,
and they won, so it's not like it's.
Yeah, they still got it didn't change the game at all.
Let's just a friendly reminder also to our fans and our each other. We still do need refs. There has been a decline in people wanting to officiate games for that purpose. That they say that fans and parents are too hard on them.
Matt.
Yes, that is me. I am that guy that yells at the refs. But hey, I get the whole section yelling most of the
It
time.
doesn't matter if there's children around. He's explicit about it.
I am. I warn people though. I do warn them when they go to sit down. So you might want to trade your tickets to somebody a little bit older.
The McIsaac goal, the first one was pretty sweet. Him and did you say McDonald?
Yep.
Yeah, it was a really nice passing play. I don't remember who got it out of the net, but it bounced out to must have been McIsaac, and they just kind of passed it back and forth, trying to get it away from the defender, and they just popped it in. It was a very nice passing play. And they won. I was there, and they won. So streak's over.
He says streak's over.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. I just thought you were talking about losing streak for them, not for
Right.
you.
Yeah, no,
The curse is over. Yeah, that's great. Sometimes I wish our fans could have an insight in our group chat. They would understand so much.
yeah.
It's fun.
From what I seen, they missed a penalty shot.
Yeah, that was Finicena too. I thought it was after his first goal. They had I forget what it was. Oh, he was coming up the right side, and he got like blatantly tripped as he went to shoot it. So I mean, it took the ref a while to get like an actual to signal for it, but I knew as soon as he called for a penalty, it was going to be a penalty shot. So yeah, it was he had him beat too. He walked in and just kind of deked him out and just whiffed on the shot. So it probably should have been a goal too, but it is what it is. It was pretty cool.
So
Congratulations on no longer cursing our favorite local team.
Yeah,
did you watch the Michigan game yesterday?
yeah, I did. I watched the first quarter.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was enough, huh? Not as bad as the Clemson Notre Dame game though.
Yeah. I mean,
30-3.
yeah.
Wow.
Clemson.
Yeah, I was watching. I watched the first quarter, and I kind of they were without. I know there's 4 players shouldn't make your team, but when you have your best defensive player out, your best linebacker out, your best running back out, it's not helping. You know what I mean? That's 3 second stringers you got to bring in of like no time and no notice or whatever. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's to me it wasn't really a good recipe for success.
You guys played Florida, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Florida's been wanting it though. I've been seeing that they've been on the uprise, but we're not here for football. We're here for hockey.
Mm-hmm.
The second game of that weekend, they went to overtime, ended up winning it 4-3, also against Madison. Lynch got the first goal with Larionov and Hakkarainen with the assist. Then Larionov got the second goal with assist from Lynch. Then Larionov scored in the final 10 seconds of regulation to send it to overtime from Lynch and I'm not even going to say it even though you just said it.
Finicena.
Yeah. And Bucas ended up getting the game winner in overtime with an assist from him also.
Yeah,
And I think Busey was in that, so he got his 22nd.
I wasn't there, and I didn't really look it up this week. So
I forgot to look that part up.
I was watching, kind of trying to watch Larionov. He plays a lot like his dad. He's very, very patient with the puck. He doesn't take any risks. He doesn't, do anything stupid. He does what he has to do and tries to make the right play.
I mean, final 10 seconds, that shows your poise
Right,
for
yeah.
the game.
Yep.
Absolutely.
They've got 3 upcoming games. They play home on New Year's Eve against Chicago Steel at 8:15. I heard it's supposed to be like a big party type thing. They'll have a DJ and stuff there.
Party after the game, yeah.
Show up, drink beer, but remember, drink responsibly.
Have a designated driver.
Yes.
I think they used to at least give like something to the people who were supposed to be designated drivers.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I've seen they've done that. in the
And
past.
behind like 108 or something like that.
Yeah.
So just so our fans know, be looking out. It's that time of year we all enjoy our fair share of tipping a few back here and there.
Yep.
Sometimes you drink a little too much.
I'll be drinking watching the Red Wings game that night. So
You might have to.
yeah.
I mean, they're playing Florida, but that doesn't matter. We've seen last time we played Florida.
Yeah, I wasn't
I'm gonna
good.
be not drinking and probably
Wanting to.
that. I've already stated, like, we all know significant others. Our significant others are not the best hockey fans in the world, but they tolerate us. Bless their hearts. But
My girlfriend,
I'm trying to convince her to let us go.
last couple weeks ago, she was talking about how there's all these Christmas movies on, and she was sitting there watching the Wings game at work. And I was like, That's because you're my girlfriend. All right. They got game on the 4th and the 5th of January to start off the year. Away at Cedar Rapids. So hopefully they get another sweep.
That'd be nice. The Cedar Rapids team's always a good team, though.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's hear what the Red Wings have been up to. I mean, probably like a
I'm
whole lot
sorry.
of nothing, right?
Yeah, they're
Should be a
still
quick,
in,
this should be a quick segment.
yeah, they're still not doing very well.
Larkin is though.
Larkins, yeah. Larkins
I know,
really
and
super
I was
bad.
surprised.
Right now, I'm having a clearance sale on my fantasy team, guys, because I have not updated the rosters for a while now. So
There was a 1 week you said his streak ended, but it actually kept going,
Well,
which I didn't know.
yeah, I watched for games that I wasn't able to watch. I go to NHL Network or NHL.com and I just kind of skim through, see who got an assist or whatever. And it was I think it was the game against Florida, the last game against Florida, and he had Vanek scored for us. It was like a 2-1 game, and it said it was unassisted. So I figured, okay, Larkin's streak's over. So, and I think that was later that day we had a show. So I figured, okay, whatever. And I watched. I think it was the very next game, and they're like, "Oh yeah, his streak's still intact." I was like, "Since when?" And I looked back on it. And they must have given him the assist like the day after or something like that. So.
statisticians, I tell you,
Yeah, so
your best friend or your worst nightmare.
so his streak, including last night against the Stars, I think is at
14,
thir-
13, something like
13 games,
that.
I believe, 13 or 12, one of the two. So yeah, he's still rocking it for us. He had our only goal last night against the Stars. So
All right.
game 38 against Toronto. It's a 5-4 OT loss. Another game we probably should have won.
Story of the year.
I was listening to this one at work.
Yeah, Bernier and Sparks were in that. Like I said, despite the Wings jumping out to a 3-1 lead on goals by Hronik, Rasmussen, and N. Toronto storms back, ties it. Nielsen would give us another goal, but Tavares would score to tie it up with 7 seconds left to go, and Kaparainen would get the goal in overtime to make it 5-4. Yep. So yeah.
Help my fantasy team.
You got whoever you wanted.
I've gotten some people off of the free list. Captain was one of them, so.
Yeah.
I've done that too. I've dropped a couple of guys.
So as we said, Larkin's streak would be intact. He ended up assisting on the Rasmussen goal, which made it to 11 games on his streak at that point. They went and played game 39 against Pittsburgh. It was 5-2 loss. He ended up Howard and Murray in that. Larkin opened up the scoring to keep his point streak alive and go to 12 games. Kessel, Brassard each had 2 goals for Pittsburgh, as Hornquist would score for the other goal. Double A would be the other goal for Detroit. Wings looked really bad after the holidays. They were really, really slow. A 3-day break, really.
Too much food, not enough exercise.
Yeah. Well, that, and they had to travel too. They had
Yeah.
to go from Detroit
Yeah.
to Pittsburgh.
And I think that was Howard's first game back from injury.
Yeah.
Wait, Howard was injured? Oh wait.
Well, I think they kind of.
He
Kept it
he
hush
had
hush.
back spasms
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, I remember hearing something about it. 'Cause that was
during
the,
warm
that's when they had the emergency goalie in. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's played one more game since then, but yeah, I think they had him off again too. But game 40 against Dallas was last night. I think it was a 5-1 loss. I'll have to.
Yeah, I believe so.
Just let it be known the next game marks the halfway point in the season. And not next week, because unfortunately Connor won't be here for that. But the following week, we will release our mid-season, kind of our out of the blue, who didn't make the playoffs last year. Playoff prediction for the underdog.
Okay.
Basically like chewing a wild card.
Well, I've already had mine picked out. I don't think I don't think they're gonna get a wild card spot, and I'm gonna unveil it in a very flashy way because that's what I was told to do. You know, I get told at work that I'm a very out there and flashy guy, so I gotta, I'm over and above and beyond. And I should be a real LA fan. It was weird. I was like, why LA? They're like, because you belong in Hollywood. I'm like, thanks.
I chose one before the season started. I'll say it because they're definitely not making the playoffs. My original choice was the Blues. Definitely not going to be my choice anymore.
You guys think they actually send Tarasenko somewhere with this whole house cleaning project they got going on?
I don't know. I think it's somebody you build around. I mean, I think you can get rid of Ryan O'Reilly. Is definitely their best player right now, so I think he'd definitely be the guy you.
Parenko.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him in Detroit.
They just need goaltending. I don't really have an issue with their roster. They have really good defense. They have people that can put the puck in the net. Jake Allen's just a crappy goalie.
Yeah, no kidding. I put him. Okay, so not the video games or any retaliation to real life whatsoever.
Yeah.
I signed Jake Allen to replace Bernier in the NHL 19 game, and I don't know how he's gone half the season. I'm starting Howard, who's a 76 overall, make it to the conference finals.
It's because Howard's got playoff experience.
Right.
Allen doesn't. Upcoming games. Well, this one's already, like we said, already played. Game 40 is Dallas. Played last night. I'll have more information on that next week. It's 5-1 loss to Dallas. In Dallas, as Matt pointed out, Monday will be the halfway point of the season against Florida. New Year's Eve, game 42 on Wednesday against Calgary, and game 43 against Nashville on Friday. All three of those games are at home. So
Good
nice
chance
little,
to pick up some points.
yeah, nice little homestand.
I don't know if they are anymore, but I heard a couple games ago, I think it might have been against Pittsburgh, Detroit was second best in away penalty kill.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't heard
In the
that,
league.
but that's. Oh.
It's definitely probably not
Shocking.
anymore against
Yeah.
that Pittsburgh team 'cause they got a couple power plays, but
Okay.
I
We're also
mean
the most penalized team in the league.
Yeah, that didn't help.
they've had more like away wins than home too.
Yeah, I believe that too. It
It's
doesn't make sense to me, but
no.
I know we haven't played that many very many away games though either. I mean, after this long road trip, I'm sure we have, but before this, I don't think we played very many.
I don't think so.
So yeah, that's the Wings recap for this week. We said we'll have more on the Dallas game, but yeah, it was a pretty disappointing game last night.
Go ahead.
Oh, I would say with we were talking about trades. I seen a thing with maybe Panarin and Bobrovsky going places from Columbus.
I just want to take a moment. Thank you for mentioning that too. Artemi Panarin should not have won the Calder. Just to kind of, I throw this out there every time his name comes up. Should not have won the Calder Memorial Trophy.
He's not the youngest or oldest that's ever won it.
Well, I know, but I just didn't. In the modern era, it just doesn't seem like it was right. However, Philadelphia made a dumb move getting rid of Bobrovsky, and I bet you anything they're feeling it right now.
Well, I mean,
Same with Toronto and Rask, though.
yeah, I mean, yeah, there's
And you look at Big Buff from Chicago.
yeah, I mean, yeah, Chicago's. Well, I think they kind of had to let him go. You know, he wanted way
Sunday.
too much money.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean,
There's
Sagan
just some
in
players
Boston.
that you just
that was attitude wise. But yeah, I mean, I
they
get-
don't see the potential and they trade and
Yeah.
they get better because they need to. They need to
Sometimes
make a
it's-
team.
Yeah, sometimes it's just a change in scenery, though. 'Cause we've seen it a lot in the National Hockey League. You know, guys like Valtteri Filppula. I know Yuri Hudler was another one of those. Valtteri kind of, faded into the background with Philly, and then, but, look, he was stellar with Detroit and stellar, really stout there with the Tampa Bay Lightning for a while there. I know him and Stevie Y go way back, and I'm pretty sure Stevie was happy to have him there in Tampa with him.
Yeah, I think Filppula's a little bit of a different story. Detroit wanted to sign Weiss, and
Why?
yeah, well, looking at it, up until his point, or up until coming to Detroit, he played really, really well. He was like a 40-goal scorer, and like all 3 years he was with Florida, or however many years he was with Florida, he was a really good player. Came to Detroit and he didn't do a jack.
That
And
seems to
we're
be-
still paying him.
That,
Yeah.
I think this year's the last year on the contract.
That's Detroit's thing for all sports. Get really good players and they come here and they just suck.
Yeah.
They go away and they do phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know what it is with Detroit.
Unless you're
but
Prince Fielder for the Ian Kinsler trade, I liked that one. I
Yeah,
don't
I
like
mean-
the idea that they traded him away.
Yeah.
Kinsler's my favorite
He
player.
might be coming back.
I would be okay with that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we wanted Weiss over, and signing Filppula wasn't going to be enough to sign Weiss, so we ended up just letting Filppula walk. And Filppula would have been good enough for at least 50 to 60 assists, or 50 to 60 points. That was way better than what Weiss would have put up.
Yeah,
so.
definitely. Can't score goals if you don't have guys passing the puck to you.
Yeah, and him and Z were like tic-tac-toe every time, so
Rumor,
makes no sense.
I mean, there's a lot. We all know that rumor mill during hockey season is ridiculous. You hear things.
We've only got 2 months till trade deadline, so
2 months till our 1-year anniversary of doing this stuff.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys being here as much as you guys are. Just throwing it out there. But we still have the Jimmy Howard rumors looming large above our heads.
I don't see him staying. I see him trading him away.
But Howard's also a very loyal guy, I found out.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, I
He
don't think
doesn't-
he wants to leave Detroit.
He doesn't
honestly.
want to. Now, if it comes to the chance of him winning a cup
Yeah,
and then coming back and Kenny Holland says, okay, we're going to trade you to a team that, is going to win a cup. Let you come win the cup. Maybe Dominic Hasek, that kind of thing, or, you go win your cup and then come back.
yeah.
Where do you think he goes?
That's the tough call,
I
though.
think he can go to St. Louis. I
Yeah.
would really like to see him in St. Louis. They have, like we just said it a minute ago, they have the
The star power, yeah,
they
the star
have the
power.
depth and the star power to win a cup. They just don't have goaltending.
What about like the Sharks?
Sharks, I
He's
can see
played in the
too.
West before.
Yeah.
Jones isn't really playing up to par, especially with how many good players they have in front of them, especially with defense.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean,
That's a freaking stack. I think that is probably by far the most stacked defense in the league.
And
Not
not
at
correct.
least,
correct.
at
When it
least
comes
West, yeah,
When it comes to talent, individual-wise,
yeah.
and household names, that is a stacked defense.
Oh yeah.
I think
Like,
it would be a toss-up between them and Tampa, just because they have like McDonough, they have Sergachev, they have Hedman, they
Yeah.
have all these really good defenders. But yeah, I definitely best in the West for sure.
Best of the West. Anyways, I mean, back to trade rumors. We heard, about the Panarin Bobrovsky. We've got the Jimmy Howard thing looming. Talk is that we could pick up a couple of players because I know now Austin Matthews is starting to think, okay, well, are you going to have the money to offer me? And I saw something the other day that said, hey, Detroit's trying to pull in Austin Matthews. Now, this seems like a dumb move. Don't get me wrong, Austin Matthews is an all right player. He's good, but we've also got Larkin's gonna want more money as he goes older. As he gets older and he gets better. They're both centers.
Yeah, I think Mitch Marner is going to be the odd man out. Honestly,
Yeah.
they're not going to let Matthews walk.
No, not a number. That's letting a number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, I don't. He's the reason Toronto's turned it around. I mean, he's the reason why people like Tavares want to come back to their hometown and play, even though they had a history of a crappy team. I don't see him going anywhere. He's their franchise player. It'd be stupid for him to let him go.
I don't think we have the money for him anyways.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think we would eventually. Coming up here soon.
Yeah, I mean,
You gotta remember, we got contracts coming off the books. Cronny's already said he's preparing for retirement. I honestly, speaking from a guy who's had go through going through the motions, if after a season or 2 years, like, yeah, whatever, this is how I'm gonna play from now on, and then you realize this could be the end. This could be the end of my career here. Now I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna compete at the top of my game.
Do you think he'll make it to 1,000 games? He's at 876 or something.
No, that's another
somewhere
4
around
years
there.
or so. That's another 2 to 3 years.
Cromwell.
That's another 2, maybe 3 years
yeah.
playing every regular season game.
He definitely won't do it with Detroit. I don't think so. I mean, unless they sign him to like maybe a 1 or 2, like a 1-year deal, and they just keep doing it like they have been. But I don't know. I don't think he goes anywhere.
I don't either. Man.
I don't think he goes anywhere, but do you think he'll make 1,000 games before he retires? Is what
Probably
I'm saying.
not.
It's
He's
tough.
up there in age, man.
His knees.
His knees are rough. Yeah. I mean, when you're going overseas to get medical treatment, that's
Yeah, that goes to show.
yeah.
Yikes.
I did see this right before, or actually on my way here. Edmonton Oilers acquired defenseman Alexander Petrovic from the Florida Panthers in exchange for blue liner Chris Weidman and sorry, my phone went dead. Conditional third round pick in 2019's NHL draft. So
Making moves. It's coming to that. It's coming to that point in the season, like I said, the halfway mark, where teams are in fight or flight mode.
yeah,
Yes, we still have almost 2 months to the trade deadline, but now these teams are like, either we're in the race at this point, or we're just gonna step back and say whatever.
I've seen things about Toffoli going places too.
I've seen Tanner Parsons, Tyler Toffoli. I've actually seen a rumor that Anze Kopitar, only for the fact that he is getting up there in age.
yeah.
He's on the books for $8 million, I want to say, a year for the next 4 or 5 years.
I really don't see anyone else being their star player besides
Yeah, I don't.
Kopitar on the Kings.
I think the Kings are kind of going through that same thing we are. I mean, as we see in the standings right now, time to rebuild.
Yeah.
Time to start shipping out
Well,
because
they got really bad after they went to the finals.
they did. The Kings.
Kings.
Yeah, they've got
After
dropped
after
off.
they won their cup, like once or twice, I don't remember what it was,
Yeah.
but they just went down, straight downhill.
Definitely. I mean, like, we see that a lot of teams, because you got to realize, 82 game schedule. We've said it before. It gets it takes a toll on your body, and then when you got a team, like the West Coast, really, they're the forefront for older players, because that's all they really know how to play is a physical brand of hockey.
Right.
I mean, let's look at Ryan Getzlaf and Corey Perry with the Anaheim Ducks, and you got Anze Kopitar over there. I think, but now that the game is kind of innovating, you'll get, it'll start to switch up.
What else we
Anyway,
got?
go ahead. What else do we have? What else do we got?
Do you got to do your Dallas thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's hear about the drama in Dallas.
Yeah, Stars CEO calls out top stars. Stars CEO Jim Lights was recently doing an interview with the Atlantic and specifically called out Tyler Seguin and Jamie Benn, calling them, this is his wording, fucking horseshit. Not sure if this is coming from the coach or GM, because sometimes you hear coaches publicly calling them out, and same thing with GMs.
John Tortorella.
Yeah, I don't really remember who the coach is in Dallas, but I know the GM is a former guy from
Is
Detroit.
it Hitchcock?
No,
Still?
I don't believe so. I don't know. The CEO, I've never really heard of a CEO calling out anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really weird. I don't know if he's like the owner or what, but
Typically.
yeah. I was looking it up because I remember their first year, Sagan's first year in Dallas. They were really, really hot. There wasn't a better 1-2 tandem between Sagan and Ben. Through 38 games this year, Sagan has 11 goals, 21 assists, and 32 points, and he's plus 11. Ben has 15 goals, 15 assists for 30 points, and plus 6.
So by the sounds of it, it's not Sagan. It's really not either one of them. But if you gotta pin it on one of the two, you gotta pin it on Ben.
I mean, they're just shy of a point per game. I mean, you can't really ask too much out of your players. I mean,
Until they got injured, they had
and they're both playing. Go ahead.
the highest scoring defenseman back on the blue line.
Yeah, it was that dude they just drafted. I can't remember his name though.
Heikkinen or something like that.
Something
Yeah,
like that, yeah.
a European.
Yeah, but both of them are playing really. I mean, they're playing defensively. They're both plus players. Last year, I was looking it up too because last year Sagan's numbers both of them played 82 games. Through 82 games, Sagan had 40 goals, 38 assists for 78 points, and he was plus 12. Ben was through 82 games, had 36 goals, 43 assists, 79 points, and plus 20. So I mean,
It sounds like it's like
they're on track for about what they did last year. So
past the first line is where it gets.
yeah,
So you have all your mid players.
Like
Yeah.
it. Roper's got his bookmark now.
yeah. Well, that was my wife.
Just trying to help you out a little bit.
Right. I was trying to find their best seasons on the books. Sagan's first year in Dallas was his best year. 37 goals was the only other year he had more was last year, and that was 40. He had 47 assists for 84 points. It was plus 16. Ben's best year was 15-16 with 41 goals, 48 assists, 89 points, and he was plus 7. So
They're both always up there in the
Yeah.
top.
yeah, I mean,
So I don't know what the CEO sees, but
yeah, I
I
don't.
mean, half the time though, I've noticed the CEOs don't even, CEOs and owners don't even really show up to the games.
Yeah, not typically. I mean, it depends on how.
Invested they are at the
Yeah,
team.
I mean, it's not like Illich who's there almost every game or whatever, you know.
but it could be attitude. Might
Yeah.
not be performance on the ice. Could be in the
Yeah,
locker room,
yeah, it could have been on the
practice. You never know.
yeah.
Right.
I forget. I was gonna look up who the head coach was in Dallas. But their GM is Jim Neal, who was the so you have an assistant GM and you have like the assistant to the GM, like, right? So like it was Ken Holland, Jim Neal, who was like the assistant GM, and then there was Steve Eisman, and then both of them left when they realized Holland was sticking around. So I don't see, if he came from somewhere like Detroit where that's not really something you see, you don't really hear Holland calling out Larkin or anybody like that. So I don't really see him doing that or saying, hey, can you call out our players?
Right. That just causes turmoil.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Jim Montgomery is our head coach, so I don't know much about him.
sounds like a rookie name.
Yeah, well, I think he came from like Denver or something, not Colorado, but
Is he one of them that came from like a college?
yeah, Denver, Colorado college, whatever. But I do know their assistant is Todd Nelson, former Griffin and Fury coach. So who knows? But yeah, it's pretty big drama, and they're not really all that bad in playoff standings either. They're like mid-Central Division. So
I mean, they started off the season really well.
yeah,
I know.
As long as they don't end up as like a 94-point team that misses the playoffs, we're good.
yeah,
Hey, Tyler Pitlick, related to Rem Pitlick.
Right.
Yeah.
Ty Pitlick. I thought that. I thought that this whole time. I'm like, oh, Tyler Pitlick. That name sounds familiar. Oh, yeah, Rem Pitlick.
I figured
yeah,
they
I
were
think they're
related
related.
somehow. I didn't know until I researched Rem and I seen their cousins. So
All right.
Jackson alumni.
Jackson alumni. Who's next?
and the Stars are in a playoff spot. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Somebody just wanted attention for the team.
Yeah, I guess so.
Bad marketing techniques.
I don't think that looks very well for the players. I mean, I don't think I'd be very happy if I was center or Sagan or Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
You said they had some kind of response, right? You
Yeah.
you said
Ben
that?
had I didn't get to look at the response, unfortunately. My phone had died when it did. But Jamie Benn retaliated back. And from what I was told, it was something along the lines of, attitude-wise, with his response was, body language and all that, was something along the lines of, let's see what you do.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think that would probably be my same response. Like, you're a CEO. Worry about running the books, man.
Right.
I'll play hockey.
Yeah, I'll play hockey. We've all ran into that one boss who thinks they can do things better than you at some point in our lives, and you're just like, you've never done this before.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how Lights is, if he has a hockey background. I mean, obviously he's a CEO of a hockey operation. I would hope so, but you never know.
Mike Ilitch didn't have one. He had a pizza
didn't-
background.
You didn't really see him calling out players though either.
Exactly.
Look at Bettman.
But,
That man had a basketball background, and he's still here. Speaking of Batman, that is our next segment brought to you by Fourth Line Apparel. Fourth Line Apparel, the official merchandising company of the Melted Ice podcast. The KHL has bought Armia, I believe that's how you pronounce it,
Yep.
Pasternak, and one other guy I cannot remember,
Oh.
the negotiating rights to him. Right along with earlier this year, they bought the negotiating rights with Mikko Rantanen for the 2020 or the 2020
I think that's the
2021.
other one you're thinking of, was Ratanen.
Yeah, they bought the the rights to those players and more in preparation for the 2020 lockout when the new collective bargaining when the current collective bargaining agreement expires. Now I know we've talked in our personally that we don't see it happening with the addition of the Seattle franchise coming in that year.
Mm-hmm.
However, this would not be the first time we've seen a lockout out of we've had a lockout out of nowhere. Nobody expected the last one, and that one lasted almost half a season.
Yeah.
I mean, we did as hockey season loomed closer, and nobody had reported to camp.
And we've had 3 since Bettman's been.
Yeah.
Yeah, this would be number 4.
Yeah. It's.
At this point, I think hockey fans are doing the whole fire Bettman chants again.
Yeah.
And he gets booed every time the Stanley Cup's
Yeah.
given
It doesn't
out.
matter who.
So
Right. He mentioned that
He
at
got
the
booed into going into the Hall of Fame.
right, but he also said it best himself. At least he knows he's not wanted
Right. Yeah.
because he also said he goes, yeah, only we can tell it's in a popularity contest. I get booed handing out the Stanley Cup to the home team.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you'd stop causing a lockout every 8 years, we wouldn't have this problem.
I seen a thing with the lockout. What you guys think about no players like locked into a team, just everyone drafted like fantasy draft.
What do you mean?
There's no players that can be like stored for one team. So like Detroit,
Everybody's available.
Yeah, everyone's available.
Detroit could
Anyone
go
could
draft
go anywhere.
Pasternak, and Edmonton could draft Larkin. I mean, that would be.
I've seen ideas for that.
Yeah, that's rough. I don't know, man.
It might put Detroit back in a playoff spot.
Yeah. I think if it was.
It'd probably definitely put the Lightning not at the very top anymore.
No. Yeah. It would. I think it would come down to who drafts first.
Alphabetical order.
Yeah.
Starting with A, ending in W.
Yeah. I don't.
Vegas is screwed.
Arizona gets McDavid.
I think Arizona's
That sounds
GM
like-
would still screw that up and not even draft him.
I think you would take Matthews, honestly.
Yeah, probably.
He's from there. Why not?
That sounds like my created player when they had McDavid and Ovechkin and Hedman and Arizona.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I just quit the season right after that game. I deleted it.
No proof that it ever existed.
Yeah.
That'd be an interesting theory. Let's have our fans do something, We don't often get them involved. Let's send us your top 5 fantasy players. There we go. We'll give you a shout out. But yeah, preparations for the 2020 lockout. Anybody actually see this thing happening?
It's possible.
Yeah. I mean,
Anything is possible.
what do we got?
Yeah.
2 years until that happens? Until it's
Yeah.
possible?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think in 04, a lot of people thought it was going to happen only because there wasn't a lot, or there wasn't a, what do you call it? There wasn't a salary cap, so people like Detroit could go out and buy
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
federal, all
They
these.
can throw the book at anything.
Yeah, they can just throw the paycheck at them and just like, hey, come play for us, we'll win you a cup, people like Colorado could go sign Ray and Bork, and be dominant for that year. So, I mean, the salary cap was definitely a good thing for the league to have, as much as we hate it for Detroit fans, because it's definitely been the reason why we've gone downhill, but,
Oh yeah.
That and age.
yeah, that in age, yeah.
Roper's too stubborn to go try out for the Wings.
I'm smart, I know I'd get the crap kicked out of me. Yeah,
Besides the draft, like I said, how else would you guys see it being resolved?
lockout.
Yeah.
I think, well, Matt, I think you put it on Facebook that of the potential lockout, and our mutual friend Drew Alcama basically said it's not going to happen. We've made hand over fist on money. Typically doesn't happen unless the players union really doesn't want it to, or unless players union isn't happy about something.
I
It's
know
all-
the players' union has stressed the fact that we're not being as tough on headshots like we need to be.
Yeah. So I mean,
We'll stop letting guys like Ryan Reeves run around.
yeah. Or Wilson.
Yeah,
As much as I like Wilson, I mean that's
Right. I only like Will. The only reason I think we like Wilson is because he doesn't care who you are. He just hits you to hit you. It's funny. The blatant he's that one stoner friend that we all have. Just like fuck it. But all right. Lockout. It might happen. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, well, that's good for us.
I was listening to Bob McKenzie on the Bobcast, and he doesn't think it'll happen either, and he's usually pretty good on insight with NHL. So
I think it'll get resolved.
I think the NHL, this is a year that the Players Union really holds all the cards just because of Seattle coming into the league. The league isn't going to want to have a lockout and kind of screw over Seattle.
Right, though. That'd be the ultimate troll, though.
Yeah. Hey, come play for us. Oh, wait, you got to wait another year.
Yeah, right.
So I think I don't think it'll happen, honestly. I don't.
What are your guys' input on Vegas not having to surrender a player for that expansion draft?
They're not?
No, they don't
Really?
have to.
Wow, that's.
They're exempt from it.
Yeah, I don't know about that. That doesn't
Kind
seem
of
fair to
bullshit.
me,
Yeah,
but
I feel like it's kind
It
of
feels
bullshit.
like the year after they became a team that's something, but
yeah, they'll be in the league
that's
for
3 or 4 years since they came
that'll
in.
be 4 years. So yeah, that's really I don't know.
They're as
BS.
equal to everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they weren't as good as they were last year, I would say yes. Now, come 4 years from now, because they're gonna have top draft picks and stuff, but they were obviously really good. I mean, you shouldn't be able to hang on to all your draft picks.
Right. Yeah, they won't have to surrender any players for that one. That was when I found that out. I was kind of ticked.
I was once Seattle was picked up or announced that they were going to have a draft. They were going to be a team. We're going to have another expansion draft. My buddy looked it up on Cap Friendly, which is like a cap
Yeah.
salary cap. The only player we have signed right now for up until then is Larkin. So right now we don't really have anybody on the books. You can't really say, okay, well, just leave Erickson out there and hope he gets picked up. Well, Erickson's contract's up in 3 years, so
2022.
yeah, so
Jeez. That sucks.
yeah.
All right. Well, our next segment brought to you by ourselves because we don't have any. Just kidding. Anyways, our next segment we've got the top 5 wings drafted since 2000. I know my list is probably like the most
Put
jankiest.
together 5 minutes before list.
Shut up! You're ruining my jive here, man. Says the guy who's got Franzen on his list.
Yeah, Franzen on my list.
Wow, the guy.
Dude, he was really good before he got injured.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, that's another thing we didn't talk about was Franzen.
He's going through a little bit of a tough spot.
Yeah.
We've had a couple of Detroit wings like that. I've seen.
Same kind of things that Derek Bogard went. No, I didn't know Bogard personally. Obviously, none of us knew Bogard personally,
Right.
but it's kind of the same thing Derek Bogard went through. When you're kind of a rough and tough player, you're gonna go through some head trauma.
There's another wing. I can't think of who it was,
Yeah.
but he was a first rounder.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wish I had my phone.
Luckily, our backup cameraman. Shout out to the backup cameraman for holding it down over there.
He just wants Taco Bell or something.
Right, he just wants food. Hey, he's the cheapest employee we've ever had work for Melted Ice, though. Get him a $2 taco, and he's good to go. Shout out to him. I love being able to give, honestly speaking, though, the opportunities to the young kids and that we have affiliated in our lives, a chance to make, some kind of money or, learn the business prospects of what it's like to run a company, whether it's, as ragtag as we can be sometimes.
Yeah.
But hey, it gives the kids, they are our future.
I don't think our cameraman is ever gonna play goalie for us again, though.
Yeah, probably not. But when you clock in a slap shot at 76 miles an hour to the nuts, are you gonna play? Well, you've taken quite a few of those off the cage from me. So I mean, hey.
I've had a few Lundqvist moments, just headbutted away.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, we'll talk on Johan Franzen's experiences right now before we go into our top 5 for the week. Johan Franzen released a statement to the press that he is suffering with a severe case of post-traumatic stress disorder, and along with some other things from the amount of concussed damage he's had to the brain. I'm really an advocate for these helmets that are coming out now, where I think it's right now they're experimenting with the skates where you can have the 3D skates made. It's a 3D mold of your foot, and they custom build the skate to fit your foot. And they really need to start doing it with helmets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can get a 3D of your helmet, I'll pay the extra $50-$60 to get a helmet that's going to protect my head,
Yeah.
because I don't want to be going through this.
I mean, you can already do it, like you said, you can already do it with skates. You just got to get them baked or shrunk or whatever.
Well, now I think it is. It's either Bauer or CCM has ones where they're no bakes.
Really?
You step on their. I think it's CCM because they got their 3D fit lights
Okay.
at like stores like Pirani, where you can step down and you can have your foot. You know, it'll give you the measurements and everything, and you can go on to CCM and have these skates made out just for your feet.
Mhm.
Without the baking process. I mean, I've never baked a set of skates in my life.
Yeah. I've had like 3 sets, and I've only had one of them that have been baked, and they're night and day compared to what you can normally skate with. So
Yeah.
it's it's definitely worth it for sure.
Yeah, I think we should really, I think the hockey companies really need to, invest in this, because you can get 3D molds of people's, you can 3D printers, 3D molds, and then you just form that helmet around them. It's a hell of a marketing technique too.
Yeah.
Because parents nowadays, I've seen a decline in parents that I've spoken to, and as a parent of a potentially future hockey player as myself, my son loves hockey just as much as I do, and that's my worry about getting into hockey is, I deal with the 9 concussions I've had. Connor's had countless of concussions. We know, they're not a thing to play with. They do a lot of brain trauma. So Johan Franzen says that he could have a conversation with you one day, somebody new one day, and then the same person comes in the next day and he doesn't remember who they are.
Right. He said it was it's embarrassing, and if I was in that shoes, it'd be embarrassing to me too. You come up and say, "Hey, what's up, man? Who are you?" Right. So, it's definitely that would be embarrassing for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough to see him because he was a clutch player, and I think a lot of people when they signed him to the contract that they did for as long as they did, I thought the money they gave him was relevant. I mean, he was 40-goal scorer. He single-handedly outscored the Chicago series in the 08 playoffs. So I mean,
yeah. I mean, I did leave him off my list just for the fact that right now he's not necessarily active, and for the last couple of years he hasn't been active, and I guess part of me is bitter for the fact that we are still holding his salary and he's not playing. I have that tendency with a lot of players though. Weiss being one of them.
Yeah, Weiss. I mean, and that's probably the only reason why Franzen is actually on my list is the fact that Franzen had no control over why he isn't playing right now. Weiss does. Weiss played like crap, and we bought him out because we could do that. So,
I mean, I held it against Datsuk until we got rid of his contract.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see. I personally don't have an issue with Franzen being out right now. I mean, I wish we wouldn't have signed him to that as long, but when we signed him, you kind of can't.
Yeah, you can't predict injuries.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably has like a lot of medical things he goes through. So I mean, getting paid still is probably really helping him.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, I still think that workers' comp would have to come up with something at that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, our thoughts and prayers, with that being said, are with Johan Franzen and the Franzen family as they continue this battle with concussions and post-concussion syndrome.
He's still. I was reading. He had a 5-goal game against, I think it was
Ottawa.
Yeah, Ottawa back in like 2011. There's only been one player since then to do it, and it was this year with Laine. So I mean that'll tell you how big of a player he was, at least for the Wings.
And he was the new Holmstrom in front of that net.
Yeah.
The mule.
He's what Rasmussen's trying to be.
Yeah.
I think Rasmussen could be a lot better at if Franzen would be able to, if they could be able to pull Franzen in to say, hey, kind of teach him a little bit. No contact drills,
Mm-hmm.
teach him how to do it.
Yeah. He said, I was reading an article on it too, he doesn't really have any contact with anybody in the Wings organization anymore.
Really?
Other than like Zetterberg and Bertuzzi, doesn't really talk to anybody in the Wings organization right now. Not anybody active anyway.
Yeah.
So that's still that's sad too. I mean, you see your teammate out there and you don't really even talk to him anymore. That's kind of sad too.
Right. What a bunch of assholes.
Well,
these guys have been my teammates, and I still talk to them, even though they annoy me sometimes.
Well, I mean, you gotta think though, how many players on the current roster have played with Franzen? I can think of one.
Cronwall,
Helm,
Glenn Denning, I believe.
Glenn Denning, Erickson,
Howard.
Cronwall, Howard.
Well, there's 5 at least that
Yeah,
I've
so
listed
I mean,
right
like
there.
a quarter of the team's only played with him. He's only been gone for like what 3-4 years.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I mean, at least call him. You know what I mean? Like, see how
Right.
he's doing. That's what I would be doing.
Exactly. That's why I like having you guys here. I know when you guys, we still hang out and keep in touch. It's all that matters. I mean, shoot, when I moved 700 miles away, we still kept in touch.
So yeah, I had to put Franzi for my number 6, just mainly because of that reason. Like, he was just cut short of his career.
All right. Roper, do you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, I gotta look him up though.
You said him earlier.
Yeah, I know. I gotta see who he all played for because he didn't play for the Wings, but he was drafted by them, and he
I
was
will-
kind of what's that?
Oh, you said Fleischman.
Yeah, Fleischman. He played for. He was drafted by the Wings in 02, 63rd overall. Played for Washington, Colorado, Florida, Anaheim, and Montreal. Had a hold on 1 second. Played 653 or 57 NHL games. I mean,
Who's that kid from Nashville? That Kelly Yarn.
Yarncroft.
Yeah.
He's a top player for the
Predators.
Predators right now, and we had to give him up for the leg one trade. So
For the who trade?
for the leg one trade, that was the
Oh.
year.
David Legman.
Yep. Pavel was hurt going into the Olympics, and then that was the year Hank got his back broke. So that left us with with no depth on our center line. So
Right.
they called in. They made a trade with Nashville for Youngcroft and I think it was somebody else in a draft pick for Legwan. So
I think Franzen and Yarncroft will make my honorable mentions. Well, then I'll start. We always do it the same way. Go around, start with number 5, go number 1. So let's go number 5. Roper, what do you got?
my number 5 is 4th round draft pick in 08, 122nd or 21st overall, Gus Nyquist. I think you're kind of seeing how now that he doesn't have the pressure of being traded, now that, they were kind of saying that him and Tatar were going to be traded, they didn't know who was it going to be, and they were going to stick with whoever they didn't trade, and now that he's like kind of got the approval of the higher-ups, you can see he's putting up career numbers this year, so Gus Nyquist would definitely be mine.
Tatar is another player that once he got drafted, kind of got the momentum to become
Yeah.
better.
Yep.
With those Canadians.
Trade, you mean? Who's drafted
You know what I meant. My 5th, just because he hasn't been in the league as long as the rest of them on my list. 1st round, 15th, 2014, Dylan Larkin. He's going to be a really good player. He just doesn't have the experience that the rest of my list does.
He's on my list, but I keep him higher. I have him a little higher just because of who's behind him. But yeah, I'd say he's better than Nyquist, and Nyquist's been in the league 4 or 5 years more than him. So
My number 5, 2nd round, 02. Now plays for, I think, the Calgary Flames. I'm going Yuri Hudler.
I don't think he's in the league anymore.
Oh,
But-
maybe he's not. I don't know.
But yeah, I
Last
think
time I
last
checked.
year he was. Yeah.
Yeah, he
I think it was,
retired. I think he retired with the Flames or something like
I
that.
think so.
I know he had a cocaine problem.
Yeah, no kidding. Hey, there's only one way you can be that fast in the National Hockey League, though.
Yeah.
Talk about flushing a $5 million contract.
That's
up your
McDavid's
nose.
secret.
Right.
Figured it out.
We can all go pro now. We all know the secrets.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Kids don't do drugs. I'm begging you. But I'm gonna go with Yuri Hudler. I feel like he was a monumental part of that. Those teams with Valtteri Filppula and Nick Lindstrom. All those guys winning those cups. I feel like he was a big monumental part of that. Especially that 08 cup against the Penguins.
Yeah, he was an instrumental player for that year. Had we done top 10, I think he would have been on my list for sure.
And it's hard to pick 5, but I think that's why I think that's why we do it. Is it makes it hard.
Right.
Yeah, I was looking through the list, and there was so many people I'd never heard of drafted since
Yeah.
2000.
So many people.
Well, my honorable
Who's that?
mention. Another one I've been put down is Keith Pittman's kid.
Yeah.
All right, number 4.
Number 4, I have a 3rd round pick in 04, 97th overall, Johan Franzen. Like I said, he was a clutch player when we brought him up, and he came out of nowhere.
The mule.
Yeah. Just people that, like when he came in for hurt players, and he made his most out of his time in 08, and he was like, and they're like, well, we're going to keep you now. you're coming in and we're gonna, you know, you're gonna keep me. You know, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going back to GR.
Right. Connor, number 4.
Fourth round, fourth pick, second round, 64th overall, 2003, Jimmy Howard. He was really the only good goalie since 2000 that they've drafted that's played
Yeah.
for the Wings.
I know we got a couple of them that I would like to see come up to do some damage. Petrozzelli being one of them.
I want to see how he does in the Griffins.
Yeah.
See if he can keep up with the AHL first.
Yeah, definitely. Most definitely. That's
We
a
don't
good way.
want another Peter Mrazek.
Yeah, brought up way too quick and yeah.
I mean, Mrazek was catching up there, and you know they say by 26 you're done developing. Mrazek's like 25 now.
Yeah, I think he's the same age as me, and I'm 26. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
My number 4, fourth round, 08. Where's the number 14? I'm going Gus Nyquist. I feel like he, when they brought him up that year, the Griffins won the Calder Cup. I mean, he really kind of proved him and Tatar that they were going to be a dominant duo, and we all knew from the start you can only have so many good players on your team, and I'm pretty sure they knew coming down the road one of them was going to go somewheres, and like Roper said, I think Nyquist has got it that he's got that pressure off his shoulders that okay I'm gonna be go out of the two of us I was gonna go to guy.
He's got, sorry.
I think it's a fitting spot for him at number 4.
He's got that playmaker like Zetterberg did.
Yeah.
Didn't score as many goals, but he'll set you up.
right. Yep.
Exactly.
I think not that he will be to the status of Joe Thornton, but he'll definitely be somebody that can dish out a good pass for sure. I will say this, that he's coming into the league. You guys remember the Ottawa goal he scored? One where he wrapped around, he came into the zone,
Yeah, like 6
came around
times.
twice and still scored.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
There was a goal, I don't remember if it was this season or last season, where he was over by where, just in front of the net, but way over by the corner, and he tipped it in, and it went in the goal.
Mm-hmm.
It just should have been goal of the year.
Yeah.
Because you don't see tip-ins like that usually.
And let's not forget, we all saw the Larkin goal a few months back, I think it was a month ago or so, where he was the one that just popped it over everybody's stick, and it was against Toronto, I believe. He was the pass from Larkin where he just shot him out of a cannon on a really good pass. So I mean that'll show you where he can make really good plays.
Absolutely, great player in the active roster for the Wings.
Yeah.
Be ashamed if they ever let him go.
I know, I have to get a new jersey.
Yeah, I don't think he's going anywhere. I mean, he's been another player where they're saying, well, he could get traded. Maybe, I don't know, but
I mean, if it's a contract year for him, I can see it happening.
yeah, he's in his last year of the contract. So.
They got some good players in GR, but I mean, I don't want to see him go
No,
anywhere.
Of course, little Nyquist doesn't
Right.
want to see him go anywhere.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah. All right. Number 3.
Number 3, and this is the draft pick I think really started between this one and Mantha. I think this one is the where it really jump started our rebuild. First round pick in 2014, 15th overall, Dylan Larkin. He's definitely the future of our franchise. He's becoming really a fan favorite. This year he has almost a point per game. He's playing.
He's the hometown
Yeah,
kid.
homegrown player, man.
Exactly. It's the best place to get him.
Just a kid from Waterford.
Yeah, right.
My number 3, first round, which I didn't know, 29th overall in 2000, Nicholas Cronwall. I think he had a really good rookie season. And I think a lot of people were hoping he'd be like a Lidstrom.
You've been crying.
But yeah, he's got a signature hit.
Yeah.
He's got a merchant. If you ever Google search Cronwald merch, he's got an entire, it's ridiculous amount of merchandise you can buy.
Well, I make wallpapers for my laptop, and I tried looking up just Cronwall wallpapers, and half of the photos are just him Cronwalling someone.
Yeah.
I just want a picture of him. I don't want it. I like that he hits people, but I just wanted a picture of him. I didn't.
Yep. My number 3, second round in 03. The man between the pipes, underneath the mask. Syracuse native, Jimmy Howard. I feel like he's been an instrumental part of this team. You know, it'd be a shame to see him go, but like Connor said earlier in the show, I think it's time. It's time for Jim to get the cup. He deserves it.
Yeah, I think he does have his name on it, but I don't think he's got like a ring per se because he was
He was
partying in
back
08.
up in 08, right?
Yeah, he played as like an emergency backup type of thing.
Yeah, okay.
Because I think Hasek had like a groin issue, and then Ozzy played, and then Ozzy wasn't playing very well, so I think he played like 2 or 3 games in 08. So I think he's the same reason that Abby has his name on the cup. I mean, he was kind of petitioned in because he played enough. Yeah.
Abdicator. I will say this guy. I know I'm constantly dogging on Justin Abdicator. I thought it was awesome when he scored the national championship winning goal, and then less than 24 hours was playing in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah.
He's got the defense.
He does. I feel like it's just a matter of we got you here kind of really trying to be the fighter of the team and just repetitively get your face punched and kind of ruins it for me. But all right, number 2.
Number 2, first round in 2000, 29th overall, Nick Lidstrom, or Nick Cronwall, sorry. He's definitely what I think the organization was hoping would be the next Nick Lidstrom, along with Yuri Fisher. We've drafted some really good defensemen, and there've been bad things that have happened to them, like Fisher's heart issue. Konstantinov would have been playing, probably not now, but he definitely would have been the 1-2 punch that Lidstrom would have needed. He definitely would have been on that 08 Cup.
Probably could have gotten a couple more cups.
Yeah. I mean, Konstantinov and then Cromwell having a knee injury, I think really kind of could have put a damper on his career and being not full potential.
That Red Wing I was thinking of is a defenseman, but I can't think of who he is. Maybe if I figure it out, I'll say it, but I can't think of it.
Just blurt it out randomly.
Yeah.
But Cromwell is definitely when I think of him, I think of the bowling hit, just because I was watching that game.
I think we all were.
Yeah. I was actually watching it at my buddy Matt Irie's house, along with my other buddy Joe Siegelstrom. So I remember that clear as day, and it was fun to watch. So yeah, Cromwell's my number 2. He just barely makes it in too. For 2000.
All right.
Yeah. My number 2, second round, 58th overall, 2002, Yuri Hudler.
All right.
Yeah, Hudler, like I said, he definitely would have been on my top 10 had we done 10s, but
We don't often do we don't often do 10s, but when we do,
yeah,
there's a lot of star power and a lot of.
Tens are hard.
They
Yeah.
are. My number 2, I'm probably gonna get a lot of heat for this. I didn't look up where he was drafted or what year he was drafted. I know he's new, obviously. I think he was a 2nd round pick. Blue liner. He's kind of stepped up in the face of adversity. You know, like we've said before, he took he's the first one to clock in and the last one to clock out mentality. I'm going with Dennis Cholowski. I mean, I've got to say, I've heard of the kid. I kind of very loosely followed him on his path to the pros, and I'm very firm on the fact that Dennis Cholowski is probably one of the top 5 Red Wings drafted. That's still on the Wings he's still obviously on the Wings roster, and he's a playoff. I'd say he's going to be a key component when we get back to the
yeah,
playoffs.
moving forward.
He's
yeah.
that new guy that everyone's looking like we want another Lidstrom. He's that new guy that everyone's saying he's
Yeah.
the new Lidstrom. You see it every time they get a defenseman. It's good. He's the new Lidstrom. He's the new Lidstrom. Well, he's the most recent one.
Yeah.
I think he has the potential of seeing his shot, and he's got a laser on him.
Yeah.
Hey,
He has the potential to be the new Lindstrom.
He was drafted first round pick, 20th overall in 2016. So for that would probably be the reason why I wouldn't even have him on the top 10, just because this is his first year. He hasn't
Wait,
even played the full.
what number?
He's 20th overall,
Oh, 20.
2016.
I thought you said 29th. I thought it was the same as Cronwall. I was gonna say that's really cool.
The defensively, he's the future of this franchise for sure. He's a good player. I just don't. There's not enough for him to see. For me to be able to see who he is.
Yeah.
I just like I said, I like what I've seen this year. You know,
He's got a snipe of a shot. I mean,
that's what I'm saying, man. That laser, man.
Look at Cromwell, or I'm sorry, Larkin's first year. We all thought he was hot shit, and really wasn't all that great of a season compared to what he is doing now.
Right.
So,
I think
yeah.
he'll get there. I think I think it's a fitting spot for him right now.
he's on a lot of the lines too, like power plays and penalty kills. And
Yeah, he's getting a lot of experience from those older guys on the team. Mike Green, Nick Cronwell. He's got the perfect mixture with all the lines that he's on of knowing what he has to do.
Daly, 3-time cup winner.
He benefited from another player, or he benefited from players being hurt at the beginning of the year. Daly was hurt. Erickson was hurt. I believe Green started the year hurt.
Yeah.
So
Green had
all three of those guys.
Erickson.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
Yeah. I said
Cronwell was hurt.
Yeah. So I mean, our top 4 defensemen are hurt. You got to throw somebody in there. So.
Benefit and said we've said before, with Franzen, he benefited from injury. He said, not going nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm staying right here.
It's the same thing. He gained coaches trust through that.
Roenick's trying to do that right now too. He's been really good these past couple games.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Phil Roenick
Staying in
Detroit.
Yeah, I would too.
Just send Erickson down through waivers, and if somebody takes him, you're doing us a favor.
I've said that before too. He was the last pick. He was the last overall pick in the 02 draft. I think we got enough mileage out of him to let him go.
Yeah, right. Hint, Ken Holland, let him go.
The bad part is like when he came back from injury, that's kind of when they went on their winning streak. So it
Yeah.
doesn't help.
Yeah, that doesn't. Yeah.
He's also the only guy to ever that I've seen in my time of watching hockey within the last 5 years. We'll go with that because I've seen a lot of crazy crap happen. To manage to fling the puck into his own net,
I guess I missed that.
or at least put it, whether it was a deflection or not, he kind of kicked it and went in.
Yeah. My number 1 is second round 03, 64th overall, Jimmy Howard. Jimmy has been probably the heart and soul of our team through all of this rebuild, through all of this trying to keep it in or keep the playoffs going, keep the playoff streak going. I truly believe he's the star since 02 or since 2000. He's definitely been the guy to hold the torch. You remember he was kind of thrown into the starting spot. He wasn't really having a year to kind of sit behind somebody like Chris Osgood and learn. He was just kind of thrown into the starter spot.
Who was it? There was a gap. Wasn't there a gap between him and Ozzy?
No, Howard, because after the 08 Cup, Hasek retired, which I automatically brought Howard up. And I think Ozzy got hurt to start the year, so they started Howard a lot that year. And then Ozzy came back and he started playing, but he wasn't really 100%, so he kept playing Howard. And then I think Ozzy ended up playing the playoffs that year, but made it all the way to the finals. So, I mean, he wasn't really able to just kind of sit back and learn from somebody. He just had to kind of learn as he went.
He done a wonderful job of it. American native with.
I think he's only made it to 1 Olympics that I can remember of.
I think so.
Yeah.
Then again, you got to remember, what you said, 03?
Yeah, he was drafted, 03, second round.
So,
2004,
And,
2008,
that was,
12,
he
16.
sat in the minors for 6 years. It's a long time to sit in
you
the
got to
GI.
think Olympics happen every 4 years, though, so it's not very.
Yeah.
Guarantee you, the Olympic coaches aren't looking at what you did in the last 4 years. They're looking at what you're doing right now.
Right, yeah. And he's been kind of, I remember early in his career, it was, he's not really that durable. And he can't play 60-some games a year, He can play 40, but, after that his durability gets pretty issued.
With the Olympics too, you had like Quick, who was really good. At the
Yeah,
time.
you gotta think,
He had all those other really good American.
You also got to
goalies.
remember the last Olympics that we had, no NHLers were able to
Yeah.
compete in.
I think, especially with Blashill being the head coach, I think he probably would have made it. what am I thinking of? Potentially being the head coach
Yeah.
of Team USA. I think he definitely would have made that team, but it's toss up for sure. It's a lot of ifs.
Yeah.
Number 1, Connor.
Third round, 95th overall, 2002, Filppula. I think he was really good for Detroit, and he's kind of that player that if you need someone to come in and help your team out a lot, like I think he's with Philly right now.
I don't know. He left Philly.
Islanders.
Yeah, I believe he's
with the Islanders.
He's in Long Island, and I can officially say that because they are back in Nassau Coliseum. How you doing?
But I think he's one of those players that if you need someone, that's who you pick up. He's kind of like the Yager, just not with scoring. He's kind of assists.
Yeah, definitely.
He's another one of those people that gets you the puck.
In 08, he was, when you get to the finals, it's the cliche of your third and fourth liners have to be better than their third and fourth liners. People like Filppula, Hoodler, Samuelson, all three of those guys had to be better than Pittsburgh's third and fourth liners, and those were those guys. So I mean, he's definitely somebody you call him and say, hey, we need you to be good this year or in this round. And you look at it, Hoodler scored in that series. Samuelson had a 2-goal game to start game 1. I mean, it's what it is, man.
Exactly.
I mean, sometimes your third and fourth rounds are playing better than your first and second, just because who they're matched up with.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why you see a lot of times. I mean, we've seen it a couple times last year, where Glenn Denning, Athanasiou, and somebody else were always, we're matched. Yeah, Helm were matched up with the McDavids and the Matthews, and it was a good combination. I remember Glenn Denning starting a game once last year, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, it's always weird to see like third or fourth round or third or fourth line starting off the game. But I mean, if they play good in like the games before, you gotta do what you gotta do.
I think it depends on what team you're playing too.
Yeah.
If it's like the grind line, you start games a lot too, and that's just because of their hard and rugged play.
Exactly. Wear him down.
Yeah.
You wear him down in the first period. You got 2 more to go.
Right. Yeah.
I think it needs to go back to that kind of hockey.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to get, let's see who can get this first goal. You can score the first goal, go another 40, almost, let's go, about 60, almost 60 minutes before another goal. You can score with 2 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah.
Now you're going to overtime.
Right.
Now they're getting a point no matter what.
Right. Yeah.
But my number 1, first rounder, the boy from Waterford. I gotta stick with the homegrown guys. You guys know how I am. I've always got a soft spot for the guys that are homegrown. I'm going D-Boss, Dylan Larkin. He's just a phenomenal player, really. I mean, I can't name one aspect of his game this year that hasn't been on point and
Yeah.
just phenomenal.
Yeah, he like put his offense for his first year and his defense for his second year together for his third year.
Yeah. He's definitely put it together this year for sure.
He's become a 200 foot
200-foot player, yeah.
foot. I don't know.
200 yards, that's 2 football fields together there,
Hey,
buddy.
you never know.
That'd make for
Those
interesting.
rinks look smaller than they actually are.
Yeah.
on TV.
Absolutely.
I think 10 years from now, let's hope we're still doing this podcast by then, but I think 10 years from now, Larkin will definitely be on my first overall pick. He's just the way he's trending, but I mean, for right now, he's only been in the league, 3 years?
Yeah.
Next captain.
Yeah, he'll definitely be the next captain.
That's kind of part of the reason that he's on my number 1 is he's come together as a player as a whole. Like we said, 200-foot player. He's a leader on and off the ice.
Mm-hmm.
From what I'm told, he's a model, person.
Yep.
You hang around this guy and you think, that's how I want to be.
Yeah.
He's not an egotistical guy like the guy from Philly who got stuck in a cocaine bust.
I remember when they drafted Larkin, and I don't remember who it was, but I was watching it on NHL Network, and when they drafted Larkin, this is a Ken Holland guy. This is the guy. This is the model Red Wing. When you think of Red Wing players that are drafted, this is who they go for, and he hasn't proved them wrong since. So
Exactly.
Did you guys know that McDavid actually tried to convince Larkin to go play in the Erie Otters with him, and then be drafted the next year and try to be first and second overall together?
really,
Yep.
I believe it.
I didn't know that. That's
I could have seen that happening as Edmonton being like, oh, let's just trade the second round pick. These guys played together. They know what they're doing.
well. I mean, what's sad is when you look back, the Larkin, Seth Jones, Matthews, I think Eichel all played on Team USA and all played the Lumberjacks. That's sad that you had all those star power players all on one team and you had them in your own backyard, and I didn't recognize anybody.
No.
You know what I mean? I didn't know who they were.
Exactly. That's why I'm glad we can pro con all this. Like we'd love to have pro hockey back in Michigan or back in Muskegon, but in the same sense, we're watching the future of pro hockey before they're there. We're buying. I'm watching when when Lumberjacks do their jersey auction. We are buying jerseys for the future of hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Just let that sink in. Somewhere's out there, somebody has Dylan Larkin's Team USA jersey, and they never thought, they just thought, oh yeah, it's junior hockey. No, you just watch the face of the Red Wings.
Yeah.
Detroit is basically, as the great AJ Styles said, Detroit is the house that Dylan Larkin built.
Yeah.
But all right, now for the moment we've all been waiting for, his prized possession is his signature tee, sponsored by Santos City Customs. Check them out on our Facebook page. The freaking phenomenal player or moment of the week by Drew Roper.
Freaking phenomenal player of the week is Dylan Larkin this week. I know we just kind of talking about a minute ago, but he's been playing lights out for Detroit lately. I mean, even on I think they've lost like 7 of their last 8. The fact that he can say he has a point in all 8 of those games is really uplifting. He has a 13-game point streak now, almost a point per game this year. Definitely showing why he deserves the C on his chest and not just an A when you're at home. Through 39 games, he already has 16 goals, the same amount that he had through 82 games last year. He's playing, just in comparison, last year he played all 82 games, had 16 goals, 47 assists, 63 points. This year he has, through 39 games played, technically 40 now, he has 17 goals, 21 assists, 38 points. So I mean, he's definitely on the uprise to shatter his career best.
Definitely. So there we have it. For my co-host Drew Roper, Connor Boguth, our audio guy Jay Crown, I'm Matthew Spooloff. This is the Melted Ice Podcast. Check us out on Fourth Line Apparel. Order your stuff now. Get it in time. Don't forget the goalie's touch. This is the Melted Ice Podcast, and we are out. End.
We didn't do the
Oh, crap, Matt.
Hey, we're still live. Guess what? We're going to do a game of the week real quick. Sit down. It's okay. We'll do it for the Facebook Live. Roper, tell them what the game of the week is.
Game of the week is World Junior Championship game between Russia and Canada. We'll have complete insight to that game next week. I'm predicting a Canada win. Russia's kind of fallen off the last few weeks, or the last few years, although they won Olympic gold last year. But Canada's demolished everybody they played so far. So
Oh yeah.
I think they're 3-0. Did I say? Did we say?
Yeah, 3-0.
3-0. Both teams are.
3-0.
Yeah, both teams are potentially going to be undefeated.
I think Canada's had like a 5-goal lead in every game
Yeah,
at least.
yeah. I know they played. Who was their first game?
Denmark.
Denmark, and they beat them like 14-0.
nothing.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
So there you have it. Canada, Russia, game of the week. Now we are out.